Hey guys, Pat Mesiti here, live at 5, and just Friday night, getting myself ready. So I don't look, I've got a plant growing outside my ears. But hey, trust you all well. Trust you all had a great week. Looking forward to a relaxing weekend. Tonight, I want to speak to you very poignantly, very directly about truth. And I'm going to use an instance from the life of Christ. So please don't switch off on me on that. And I kind of get tired of trying to explain myself in that area. But Pilate, when he was faced with Jesus, asked this question. He said, "What is truth?" And when he was confronted with the person of Christ, he wanted to release him because he found no fault in him, and he washed his hands. And of course, the Jewish people said, "Let his blood be on us and our children." And I kind of wonder whether they wish they maybe shouldn't have said that. Because the truth is that since then, there's been terrible atrocities happened to the Jewish people. And I really believe that truth is never popular. When I was a director of Teen Challenge, one of the hardest things was to deal in truth. Because addictions deal in a lot of deceit, they deal in a lot of darkness, they deal in a lot of manipulation. And mothers would come in and they would cry because they wanted their little boy or their son, not little, but most of them grown men, free of drugs. And I would say, "Man, your son is an addict. Face it, that's the truth. He may be your son, but right now he operates in a realm called addiction. And that realm called addiction will cause him to do things where he will even sell you for a hit. That's the truth." The problem is that many people don't like truth. When it comes to things like in the United States of America, you got someone like Nancy Pelosi, who's been in politics, from what I understand, and my years could be a little bit wrong, 33 years. Joe Biden, 50 years in politics, and now he's going to make changes? Nancy, 33 years, 40 years, and now you're going to make changes? President Trump, he's been around, what, 4 or 5 years? Yet, he's created 4 million jobs. There is less unemployment ever in the history of the United States. Manufacturing is at its fastest growth in 3 decades. African-American unemployment at its lowest ever. Women unemployment is at its lowest in 65 years. 3.9 million Americans are off food stamps. Tax cuts. He canceled the illegal green coal called Clean Power Plan and provided $2 trillion in the economy, plus helping other people, plus helping Hispanics, plus helping those that are marginalized. That's the truth. But of course, now we've got the rioters and the crazies out there who want rights, but don't want you to have rights. Mark McCluskey was, from what I understand, an attorney in St. Louis. A group of hundreds of rioters came through his gates, and this idiot reporter, Chris Cuomo in America, dared challenge him because he defended his property against hundreds of rioters, screaming his abuse, threatening him verbally. And this idiot reporter says, "Well, did they damage your property?" What is this man supposed to do? Wait till they rape, kill, and shoot, and then defend? He has the right. The truth is, he had a right to defend himself. And yes, it's okay if he's got arms, because that's a legal right. Do I like that? I tell you what, if I was him, I'd probably do the same thing. And most of you would as well. If you saw hundreds of rioters screaming abuse at you, wouldn't you stand up for your home? You see, what is amazing to me, and I am pro people's equality. I've said it over and over again. One race, one blood. But I'm not for the stupidity of the radicals. And people like Joe Biden, the radicals want him in. You know why? Because he's controlled by the radicals. What amazes me is people like Beyonce and her husband, Jay-Z, who I think is a billionaire, get up at a Ebony Awards event speaking about racial inequality. Can someone explain this to me? You are a multimillionaire. Your husband is a multimillionaire. The people in that room and your industry is full of black multi-millionaires. Listen to me, Beyonce. Listen to me, Jay-Z. You're in a room where the awards are only given to black people, and you say that's not racist? You can't handle the truth in the midst of, just like that movie Jack Nicholson said. The culture you criticize helped create the prosperity you enjoy and gave you the same opportunity that's been available to Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, and anyone else who dares put their hand to the plow. But yet you go out and throw things about racist presidents. Have you seen what the Democrats? Can I remind you that the Ku Klux Klan and the Confederates were actually Democrats? Have you people lost your mind completely? Oh, no, I get it. When it comes to emotion and radical takeover, truth don't matter. Can I ask a very simple question? Where are all my Pentecostal preacher friends? God, I'd love to name some of you right now. Where are you right now when little kids are shot in Chicago? And let me add, where is Reverend Al Sharpton? Do yourself a favor, Al Sharpton. Call yourself something else. Where were you? Where were you guys criticizing Nancy Pelosi when she called George Floyd George Kirby? Hundreds of people shot in Chicago, including children, yet you are silent. You don't care about truth. You actually don't care about truth. The whole Black Lives Matter movement, I believe Black Lives Matter. I believe all Black Lives Matter, including children. Black lives should not matter only when there's white people involved. And by the way, let me add this. I really believe that lies create momentum faster than truth. I've experienced that myself. Bad news travels faster than good news. Bad news travels faster than good news. In 2001, when my world came crashing down due to my own mistakes, the news spread so fast. But the recovery, boy, that's been a long time coming out, especially from some of you Christians out there. People don't celebrate it. Am I angry? No, I just get it. I just get it. The truth is slower than lies. Truth is slower than lies. Good news is slower than lies. You see, the truth is, watch this, that people are easily offended because they want to be offended. People stay in addictions because you want to stay in addictions. You get a payoff from it. And until the pain overcomes the payoff, you're not going to change. Truth. So many have rights. I mean, our gay friends have rights, and I've got many gay friends, and so they should have rights. People of various religions have rights. Unless you're a Christian, we all have freedom of speech, unless you're Israel Folau. And then, of course, if you dare express what you believe, and you've got the right to express it. And by the way, what Israel said was not hate speech, and I know that's been a long time ago, but it's there to prove my point. There was not one bit of hate in that. He was quoting a religious text. But if you're an extreme Islamist, you won't get banned. You won't get vilified. They'll just keep handing you money. Do you know what? Truth. Ricky Gervais got up there at the Globe and Globes and did a great dissertation and mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. And they all laughed. He said, don't laugh, you're all his friends. Boy, did they not like that. When he got up and said, when you get up here, you've got no right to speak or anything. Shut up. Thank you, God. Take your reward and go home. He said, you people out there work in an industry where you got Amazon and all the others that have people working in sweatshops. And he said, If ISIS had a TV channel, you'd be sending your agents there. Do you know what got them so mad? He told the truth. See, truth is one of those things that we don't like being confronted with. We don't like being confronted with. We want to blame things. We want to blame our past. We want to blame history. You can't do a thing about history except start creating a greater future based on truth. Based on truth. In this country, the Labor Party and the Greens for 3 years opposed Prime Minister Scott Morrison on mandatory sentencing against convicted pedophiles. How on earth why on earth would you ever vote for people like that? Well, maybe they were opposed it because some of their own ranks were committing these disgusting, vile crimes. How is it that TEDx kept a speech up there by a so-called expert telling us that we should understand pedophiles and understand why the way they are? I can tell you right now, that thing should have been torn down. Truth is, who they got in the ranks. For the left, truth is only truth if it's their truth. For the media, they say that they report the facts. Well, go back and think a few months ago when COVID-19 first started. Oh, we're going to have football fields, turn them into hospital wars, and the chaos and the scare. Who holds them to account? Who holds them to account? Let me ask you a question. Who holds people to account when they lie against their partner about a domestic violence issue or something, and yet that person is vilified, put all over the media, but the accuser gets off scot-free? Why is it that the media, and I know I'm setting myself up right now, believe me, they watch. Why is it that the media are not held to account for lies? Where are the football fields full? We can't even fill a hospital. The hospital beds are empty. Yet you created pandemic, you created panic, you created chaos, you created fear, you caused our supermarkets to be emptied. Based on what? A lie, and you knew it was a lie. All of a sudden now, Dr. Fauci, who has not practiced in God knows how many years, said, well, I'm not really qualified to tell you what contact sports you can and can't play and what you can and can't do. But everyone listened to him. Or maybe was he hiding behind something? Like the deceptiveness. How come we don't know the truth about the World Health Organization and its Ethiopian Marxist leader? You see, people will only speak truth when it covers their lie. People will speak lies to cover truth. Truth is truth. And we've got to be people that look past the superficial. The problem with truth is that truth is confronting. Truth is divisive. Truth polarizes. Truth exposes. And truth forces you to be honest with yourself and society as a whole. I get concerned about some of the radicals. And if you are looking for me to be grey, I don't do grey. I don't do self-righteous either, and I don't do far extreme right. I get concerned with some of my evangelical friends and some of the stuff that they say, which I find so unbiblical at times. I sit there and I go, well, that ain't the truth. From what I see anyway in the scripture. I look at and I go, that's not the truth. And by the way, I know what it's like to deal in deception, having lived there for many years in the past, in lying to myself and lying about my shortcomings. So I don't come to you as someone beating their self-righteous chest. I come to you pleading that we be truthful, especially our politicians, especially our entertainers. And why on earth would we be listening to people who cannot run their own freaking lives, let alone trying to run a country? Why would you listen to Joe Biden, 50 years in politics? What has he accomplished? He's been through the race riots before. What did you do, Joe? What did you do? Nancy, what did you do? Rodney King, O.J. Simpson, Martin Luther. What did you guys do? Al Sharpton, what did you do? Except for line your pockets with the blood of people that you used. And I believe that's what you're doing here. I believe Black Lives Matter. I believe all Black Lives Matter. Whether it's a George Floyd or a 3-year-old kid that was shot, 4-year-old kid shot in Chicago on the street, or a 12-year-old child, 5. And what upsets me is that politicians are silent. My preacher friends are silent. I'm not going to live in the cone of silence. I want us to live in truth. And if we want lives to matter, they all got to matter. All Black lives matter. All white lives matter. All truth matters. We need to be people of truth. Sadly, the likes of our Al Sharptons, the likes of our Joe Bidens and Nancy Pelosi's and the Black Lives Matter Antifa movement, funded by George Soros, which, by the way, is a white guy. I find it amazing that they hide behind masks. This is never going to be a gray zone. And I've always tried to stay away from politics and stay away from, things that might cause controversy. But if we don't fight for what we love, be prepared to cry for what you're going to lose. Gray has never worked. Just look at Joe Biden's history. Look at Pelosi's history. The fact we live in Australia. Look at the people around here. I'm very grateful, even though I've been critical of our Prime Minister, that he took a stand. And he's still taking a stand. And I'm very grateful for leaders that take stands. Let me just say this. When people say, I want to be everybody's friends, I don't want to choose sides. Can I suggest you find a different friend? You want to be my friend? Choose a side. I don't want friends that don't choose sides. Jesus said, you're either for me or against me. Which one are you? Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Be a person that speaks truth. If you're going to post something, post truth. If you're going to speak truth. And I'll add one more thing. When you speak truth, the good book says, speak the truth in love. Have a look what's happening right now in the United States and in our country with these rioters. They're not speaking the truth in love. I'm very grateful for a president in Donald Trump that today said, you destroy a monument, you're going to get 10 years in prison. And so they should. Because people sometimes with those monuments lost their lives, and many people lost their lives for the freedom that you now enjoy. And all these people that want to destroy history need to learn from history. They need to learn from the truth of history. Anyway, guys, God bless you. Trust you all doing well. Sunday morning, hey, 8 a.m. at Reborn. I have a very, very powerful message, and it's going to shift your life. It's going to change your life. I know it's going to be a great blessing to you. Look forward to seeing you. Hey, this is not the gray zone. This is Pat Mesiti. You have a prosperous life.